Did you know that the Posse Comitatus Act and your constitutional rights were under attack by our 2010 Congress? Do you know why the Posse Comitatus Act was enacted? The driving issues were Civil War, Reconstruction, federal troops, and states' rights. 13 years after the Civil War, we finally gained back our rights. By 1878, with the newly elected Republican favorite Rutherford B. Hayes as president, there was pressure from all sides to reestablish state rights and send federal troops home after years of Reconstruction policies that led to the Ku Klux Act, signed by the military hand of the former General President Ulysses S. Grant. Concerned citizens grew weary of the federal control over their lives. After the war, the feds took over local police duties that had always been a state's right. Americans were once again demanding states' rights take precedence over federal rights, as defined in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. The founding fathers of this great country understood that the separation of powers had to be carefully divided in a system of checks and balances. They knew oppression would lead to a loss of liberty. Free Americans knew Ben Franklin was right when he said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." A loss of liberty inevitably becomes elitism. The American people determined that after 13 years of military control, they never wanted to let that happen again. The Insurrection Act of 1807, although well-meaning, was not strong enough to protect the people from the indignities of the Reconstruction. Thus, the Posse Comitatus Act was born. This act severely crippled the power of the president to use military force against its own citizens ever again, until now. Now fast forward 133 years later. Our politicians have passed a law diluting that act and adding the insult of taking away our constitutional rights as citizens to a fair trial. Should we be accused of certain vaguely defined crimes or associations, we could be subject to indefinite incarceration for the rest of our lives without any lawyers, constitutional rights, or outside contact at all. In other words, no habeas corpus. Now the only question is, who voted for these anti-American legislators? Guess what? We all did. The National Defense Authorization Act of 2011, which was prepared in secret, was passed 283 to 136 in the House and 86 to 13 in the Senate. Don't forget the majority of those voting yes were Republicans. 267 Republicans and 184 Democrats voted yes. You can't blame the liberals this time. Obama knew he could not successfully veto this piece of crap. Remember, the president is the administrator of the law, not the lawmaker. You can't blame Obama for this one, but he should be blamed for not using a veto in protest. Obama chose politics over righteousness once again. Blame the entire Congress this time. Their next act will be to censor the Internet. Show your patriotism. Vote them all out, or you will be damned. Ask yourself, is there something I can do to help stop this runaway train besides vote? Unfortunately, the situation is already beyond our control. The best any of us can do is prepare for surviving in a country that is under martial law. Let us all hope that it never gets to that, but the writing is on the wall. When it happens, like the false flag events of Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, and the 9/11 attacks, it will be without warning, and policy will already be in place to deal with the population. The best thing you can do right now is to get informed on what is happening as I speak. Remember, this is only the beginning of the story. Use the Internet to research the following subjects. For more on this subject, here are some keywords to search, and thanks for listening.